Hey guys, Mike here with another rant video. Today I'm going to be talking about retro gaming in modern pop culture. We've all noticed lately the recent spike in retro gaming and basically everywhere, everything we see. And it could be for a multitude of reasons. First of all, I think that a large part of it is because a lot of people it's kind of gotten so far into this modern gaming and you know, the crazy graphics and everything. People just want to take a step back and get back to the roots of gaming and get back into their childhood classics, you know. And I think that's one of the main reasons that we have a spike in, you know, value of retro games as well as just general interest. I mean, I'm in Montreal and we have the Ubisoft headquarters, at least one of their main buildings here, and on the side of it they have, you know, like 8-bit paintings. I think they have like Mario and stuff, so it's pretty cool to drive by there. Other than that, it's all over. You know, DLC is bringing back a lot of the old games for people to even, you know, experience now. Even if they don't want to collect, they can still play their old Mario, their old Nintendo classics, you know. So it is really cool for all of us, you know, collectors, and even if you're not a collector, someone who just enjoys playing the classic games. And it really is an interesting phenomenon, I find, and that's just mainly because, like I said, we're going back to our roots, and it just shows a lot about, I guess you could say, a lot about society. I mean, I guess it's kind of sounding pretty deep now, but it's just because, I mean, if you think about it, all of the great games that we've had lately, they're just so intense in graphics and such deep storyline, and they are really heavy. And I don't know about you guys, but once I'm finished, you know, a long game, like something that's taken up a ton of time, I find it fun just to go back and play Duck Hunt, or, you know, one of those really simple games that just doesn't take any real, you know, thinking, or maybe I shouldn't say that, but just is much simpler, you know. And that is one of the great things about retro gaming, of how simple, how innocent it is compared to today's gaming, you know. I mean, I know it's always talked about, you know, violence in modern gaming, and I'm not really one of those people who's totally against it. I don't see the joy in, you know, going to war in a game, but I do find it fun to shoot people in Mega Man, so I guess, you know. But you know, Mega Man is amazing. So, you know, just like how Capcom went and made, you know, Mega Man 8 and 9, the companies that I think they're kind of losing sight of, you know, the old stuff, and I think they're starting to realize that people want the simplicity. They don't only want the most stuff, but they also want the simple things that they remember from their childhood, the games that are kind of just more fun, that they don't need to put 100 hours into, you know, that you can log a lot of time on, but you can really just have a blast playing it. That's why, you know, like GameStop recently, they've brought back retro gaming. Of course, it's kind of expensive, you know, like it's like ridiculous amount of points just to get, you know, the simplest of games. But that, and then there's DLC, and all the time, you know, like on my 3DS, I have a bunch of games that I also have in cartridge, but I play them on my 3DS instead. And I think that's a really good thing, that these companies are realizing that there is a market for those old games. But on that note, I think it's important for them not just to try to take advantage of what has already been created, but instead to also go and try to create new games, you know, new games that are similar, that resemble the 16-bit and 8-bit era games, just because those games, really, if you think about it, they were really just so basic and so simple. I guess you could almost call them, no, you couldn't call them primitive, they're beyond that point, but they were just so simple and so much fun compared to the games nowadays. Even lighthearted games nowadays, they just take a lot more energy. You have to put so much energy into games nowadays. It's not like when you just kick back and play, you know, an old Kirby Dream Land, or who knows, whatever game you liked. You know, even the more intense ones like Chrono Trigger, they're just so lighthearted, earthbound, you know. And it's important, I think, that these companies come out with these new games. And I don't know if you guys saw, but recently, I don't know which company or anything, but they're coming out with a new Super Nintendo game. and it's not officially licensed or anything, but I think that's great. And I think this is all part of the whole surge in, you know, retro gaming coming back into things. And this, you know, I think it's great because this is all about consumers, you know, raising their, what they want and expressing their feelings, because, you know, retro gaming isn't what the, I guess you could say, the big companies are going for. It's the only reason they would go for it is because the consumers want it. And I think this is really something we can control, because as far as other games go, they're kind of doing their own thing with DLC and all this stuff. And if we can kind of let them know that we still have a say, that we still care about these simple things. We don't just want these, you know, as great as they are, but, you know, these huge games, that we really do love the classics, and we want them to put their creativity to the test. You know, we don't just want them to bring back old titles, as great as it is. We want them to maybe create sequels to the old games that we love, you know, and not make them 3D. Make them in good old 16-bit. Yeah, so that's what I have to say on the subject. If you guys want to see me rant some more, you can subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you guys suggested some more topics, whether you want to message me or comment or whatever you guys want to do. You can follow me on Twitter at RetroGamerVlog. So yeah, all the support you give me, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.